in your life, in your business, in your career, then you are in the right spot. As today, we talk about how you can protect your own version of the sacred timeline. Let's get started. I know over on Instagram, y'all can't hear the music, but I appreciate y'all. Anyway, as we go ahead live, I appreciate you. Everybody, welcome Automators to this edition of the Automation Mastery Podcast. I appreciate each and every one of you. As y'all come in, tell us who you are, tell us where you're from, and of course, tell us what you do. If you listen on the podcast replay or live on Facebook, or at least listening on replay over on Facebook, we appreciate you as well. Make sure that you go ahead and put a hashtag replay. You share this with a friend, a family member, or a foe, because they need this information too as we get out here and get ready to protect our sacred timeline. Now, I know for y'all folks that are following Marvel, y'all know what in the world I'm talking about. If not, y'all should definitely check that out. Shout out to the folks we have with us. Ms. Morgan, appreciate you as usual for being here. Dr. Sakisha and of course Mr. Eric Heilich down in Orlando, Florida, joining us over on Instagram. Again, I'm throwing Instagram in the mix, y'all. We are up in the game. We help married couples build their marriages, build successful businesses, and build generational wealth for their family. So question for y'all over on Instagram as well. What does more time mean for you? So that's the first part of the question. But also for my business minded people, in what ways do you help your clients free up time? Like, in what ways do you help your clients free up time? Let me know in the comments. Let me know over on Facebook. As folks get in, y'all share this and all that. I want to get into one of the habits, and I'm trying to create more show habits, y'all. If there's anything y'all want, again, if you're over on the podcast, go over at ampodcast.net. Make sure you shoot us a message, leave us a comment, all that stuff. One thing I want to start doing is a quote for the week before we hop into the meat of the content. And by the way, today's content is going to be good. I'm talking about the phases of time saving. And some of y'all not really going to think about it. Some of you aren't, it's going to be good for you. So again, if you want to save time, either in your business or even in your career or life, there are phases in which you can implement time savings opportunities. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. But before I get into that, I want to hop into this quote. And the quote is, "The greatest discovery of my generation is that a human being can alter his life by altering his attitudes of mind." It's by William James. What does that have to do with today? Now, I read that this morning, right? Like I read that this morning, got this quote book. Okay, and it's got a bunch of these little quotes in it, right? Folks on Instagram, y'all can see it. And if y'all want, I don't even know where you would buy this book. It's an older book. But it's cool. I can just pop it open and get a quote. And I like this because time is such a precious thing. And so the common thing that we say, of course, and y'all hear it, let me know in the comments. I want to know what are some common things that y'all hear or believe about time, right? There's people told you that you believe. But the time is this thing we say, we only have 24 hours in the day and it's only so much time. You can't create time and I don't have time. And it's usually an excuse for whatever. I like this because literally by implementing some of the things we'll talk about today, not only so by altering the mindset that there are ways for you to essentially borrow time, that you will impact your life. Like your actual life will change if you take the time to implement some of the things I'm going to talk about today. And so what I like about automation is, and it's not what people think in terms of just, hey, press a button, print out money, right? I don't like that perception of automation. I like automation being a thing of leverage, right? It's a thing of leverage. And so I'm going to talk about some things real quick that y'all should take advantage of. Now, again, if y'all need help from us with these things, y'all know automatewithease.com. Again, over on Instagram, automatewithease.com. Go ahead there. Free training. If you want to talk to us, there'll be a button you can click after you go to the training and book a time with us. Now, the first thing I suggest for everybody, y'all have heard this before, but like many things you've heard, you should eat well. You should sleep often, right? You should laugh a lot, but you don't always do those things. So same thing. The first thing I want to talk about, and these aren't the phases, right? We're going to get to the phases here in a second, but I have to lead with this. The first thing that all people should do, business, personal, whatever. And if you ever talk about how you're short on time, you do a time audit. You do a time audit. Now, is it fun to do a time audit? No. But you take a look at your day. You see it there. Well, I've spent my time doing this versus that. That I spend this much time hanging out on Instagram or Facebook. That I spend this much time looking at memes. Again, I don't know how many times I've ordered my phone, intentionally trying to be focused, and only for that thing to derail me. And I just sit there and I'm like, I'm not going to get distracted. And still 5 minutes later, somehow I end up distracted. If that's happened to you, let me know in the comments. If that's happened to you, let me know in the comments. It happens all the time. And because of that, here's the second biggest thing. And this will actually help you all. Any of y'all who sell something that has a time benefit for a sales purpose, right? So if any of y'all are doing sales appointments, my folks over on the podcast listening to this, if any of you do sales appointments, and there's a time savings mechanism that goes into this, here's one of the things that are often lost. Opportunity cost. Okay, so I'm an economic, so I had an econ major out of school. So opportunity cost is a major thing. And it's one of the, matter of fact, even today, I was on a sales appointment. It's what I told the person was, hey, look, we're having a conversation. It's a 5-figure conversation in order for you to have a 6-figure gain, right? So we're talking about exchanging 5 figures for 6 figures. Now, why do I say that? Because by doing the program and working with us, right? By doing the program and working with us, our goal is to make them 6 figures. And so what can happen? I even put it in terms of a 6-month time frame. It's a 6-month program. And I said, well, look, you can spend 10 or lose, right? You can spend 10, and the program was more than 10, but just give you an example. You can spend 10 or lose 100, right? You can spend 10 or lose 100. That's the way I framed it. Right. And it's true, because at that point in time, you could spend $10K and get the help, or you could, right? Or you could pass on it and possibly lose out on 100. Right. You may not spend the $10K, but you may lose out on the 100. And so many of us, again, forget that the time we spent doing stuff that doesn't matter, right? Trying to save $1 here. And again, I still struggle with this and go back and forth, but it's one of the mental things that eat away at me whenever I'm doing something that I know is costing me more than it's making, and I don't get joy from it or satisfaction from the process. It like eats at my soul, period. So what I want y'all to remember is opportunity cost. So some of the things you're spending time on that you think you should be spending time on, you have no business spending time on because it in no way actually serves your business. It doesn't serve your profession. It doesn't serve your relationship. It doesn't serve your health. It doesn't serve your kids. It doesn't serve your dreams. If the opportunity cost is bigger than the thing itself that you're doing, then you have no business doing it. And it's actually a waste of time. You're not saving anything. It's actually a waste of time. Period. Right? Period. There's no in-between gray area. If the opportunity cost is larger than the thing itself, whatever the opportunity cost is, then that thing is a waste of time for you. Right? Now, obviously, if you can't afford to make that substitution, then that's just a situation that you're in. Doesn't mean you should be doing it. This means you're stuck doing it. So take a look at where you are and see where the opportunity cost is. Number 3. What would you rather be doing? So along with opportunity costs, so sometimes there are things that you're just going to rather be doing. Not necessarily profitable, doesn't make you money, doesn't increase your bank account, doesn't take you further in your career, your business, but you would just rather be doing that thing, which means the payment is spiritual and it's just not in the bank account. So even then, there's a spiritual benefit from doing that thing. So what would you rather be doing? What would you rather be doing? I can tell you, so here at home, if it's a Friday evening, and that's usually the night where we sit down and watch something on the TV, I'd rather be doing that than be outside cutting the grass. I'd rather be doing that than doing stuff around the house. I would rather, right? Because I'm working all the time, or my brain is on all the time. Friday nights are like the one time where literally you've kind of given myself permission, because it's been part of the routine where, again, it's not I can't get worked up or I don't think about business, but it's I feel less guilty relaxing on a Friday evening than any other day, any other evening, any other time. It's like Friday evenings, like I'm good because it's the scheduled time. It's literally mentally I've scheduled out. So I would rather be doing I'd rather be doing like a few things on a Friday evening over everything else. Even though those other things are profitable, they're productive, I would rather be eating some junk and spending some time with family and watching a movie on a Friday evening. Do over a lot of things you probably should be doing. What thing would you rather be doing other than things you should be doing? Go ahead and put it in the comments. And the last thing, we're going to talk about the phases here, is now that you've looked at your time, you've audited your time, you've thought about the opportunity cost of those things, and you've thought about what you'd rather be doing, period. Spiritual, like your spiritual payment. Now it's time to implement these things. Now, there's really 4 phases of freeing up your time. Okay? There's 4 phases of protecting your sacred timeline. Okay? So when I say protecting your sacred timeline, I mean your time is sacred. So it is literally your sacred timeline, right? Is this thing like locks as I'm going live? That's weird. So the first phase, and this one's the fancy phase. This is what most people think about and see because we've been all watching this stuff on YouTube or Facebook, and there's some type of meme or viral video, and it's a hack. So the first phase is hacking, right? It's that little trick, tip, change, shift that you make that saves you minutes, maybe an hour, saves you a little bit of time here or there, but it doesn't change your entire life, right? Like how many clothes, like there's one thing where, I took a hack of folding clothes, shirts a certain way faster, right? Like there's little hacks like that are cool. They save you time. They make life better. They help you multitask. They're good, right? My hack is recording emails, actually using the talk to type while I'm driving. So that way I'm still hands free, right? But I can record emails to then paste later into the software. Okay, so that's a hack. Doesn't change my entire life, but does let me get a little more done. The second thing is having a tool in place. Now, this particular hack obviously used a tool, but the second level that most folks want to get to is investing in the right tool to then save themselves time. Okay? It's investing in the right tool is a way to save a massive amount of time. So it could be investing in a tool that allows you to automate sending your emails. So that way now you're freeing up time and also freeing up mental energy. This is a whole other day. Right? It's a different day. We're talking about time right now. Time is having a calendar system that allows you to book a certain time with somebody instead of playing phone tag. Time is having pre-set up templates set up in a software that gets filled out with the people's information, so that way you don't have to personally do it yourself. That's using a tool. And a lot of good things can happen with the right tool, because with the right tool and systems in place, you can run ads, which are the ultimate time saver. It allows a system to market for you, and so you can be sleeping, you can be vacationing, you can be relaxing, watching, eating, whatever you're doing, you can do those things and still be having a business grow. Okay? That's the right tool, as my stand falls over. Right? That's the right tool. All right? So that's the power of having a tool. Now, a lot of folks, this is where folks usually come to me, like, Justin, what's the right tool I should use to get this thing done? And if y'all need help with that, automatewithease.com. Okay? We actually have a tool that we give clients. That they can use to have a lot of their stuff all in one place and save a ton of time. That's what we do. Right? That's what we do. That's the second thing. It's tools. Third are people. Now, obviously, people are a huge time saver. But the problem is the price to replace yourself with tools is here. The price to replace yourself with people is a little bit higher. Right? It's a little bit higher, depending on what kind of people you need. But when you can bring on the right people, then you can really step yourself out of stuff. Now, that's obvious. So what's the not so obvious piece? Like, what's the not so obvious part of this, of hiring and bringing people in as you think about time? Because again, it's a transition, right? It's a transition. It's a process that happen instantly for everybody. And so it's hard to imagine having the cost of hiring somebody. But people look at it the wrong way. So again, I have folks on my team and things that get outsourced. But it didn't start like with a full team. It started with certain things. So if you do the time audit like you're supposed to, and if you bring in the right tools like you're supposed to, then what you have left is you can see the things that you're currently doing. You can see the things that the tool can do for you. And what's left are the pressing things you should hire for. And now it becomes easier because now you should just pick like a thing or two that's low cost. You can hire somebody to do part-time. And guess what? Some of the little things I have somebody doing only cost me, I think, maybe $30 a week. And it takes something off my table that mentally I wanted to get done. So some of y'all like, Justin, it's crazy expensive to hire somebody. It depends what you want. Depends what you want to do. Now, if you want them to recreate the entire wheel for you, of course, it's going to cost you a wheel of fortune. But if you're just trying to get something simple done and you know what that thing is, if you know what that thing is, hey, right? If you know what that thing is, then it's easier to go out and hire for that thing. Okay? It's easier to go out and hire for that thing. Now, what brings all these things together and where the real magic is, but most of y'all are too disinterested to do this thing, is where y'all most disinterested. Now, if you get to this point and you do these 4 phases, that whole like beach money concept that it seems like it's pie in the sky, but you want it to feel possible, it is. And from a practical standpoint, I don't mean like you're going to be you're going to have a Lamborghini parked outside your house tomorrow. I just mean that if you want to go on vacation or enjoy yourself, you can do those things knowing that things are still getting done. And so the most boring phase and the most boring answer I can give you is the best one. It's the 4th phase, in which case you develop procedures. Yep. Mind blowing. Blows your mind. The most amazing answer ever. It doesn't sound like that, like it's that. They don't sound that fun. Procedures don't sound fun. SOPs don't sound sexy at all. Sounds like a one piece with a blanket. Like it don't sound like it doesn't sound. It sounds like it doesn't sound nice. Doesn't sound fun. Okay, that doesn't sound exciting. It's about as exciting as driving a Pinto or a Beetle, or like it. Just not fun, right? But if done right, if done like smoothly, implemented the right way, a procedure is the most amazing thing you can have in place. Because if you've done your time audit and you know where you spend your time and what needs to be done, and then you go out and you get tools, you know how those tools implement and actually interact with your business, and then you get the right people in place to fill out the holes, and you put a procedure in there. You put a procedure. Okay, you put a procedure in place to connect, to tell the people what to do with the tools, the results you want, how it interacts with you, and how to best save you time if you do that. Like, just take the time to do it. You can also put instructions for, hey, when you're not available, this is what needs to happen. If you do that, you've now freed up an immense amount of time. You've now freed up like a gargantuan, a humongous amount of time. Huge amount of time. So think about that. And that's a phase most of these, like us smaller entrepreneurs that are trying to break free of the corporate world, never get back to. Because again, we get so hung up in procedures being a bad thing in the corporate world, and we forget that procedures are often the very thing that helped your company be successful. And again, we're just so anti-company that we fight it. But at the end of the day, it is the procedures that allowed us to be successful. I'm sorry. I know y'all are waiting on like some golden nugget, but that's the truth. It's the truth. So those are the phases. If you want to free up your time, go through those phases. If you need help going through those phases and you want a team in place, you want the tools, you want help with the procedures and the SOPs, the time audits and all that jazz, go ahead to automatewithease.com. Again, that is automatewithease.com. And make sure you go out and share this with somebody, because they need this information too. All right, y'all. So again, I appreciate y'all being here. Let me know. Again, question I have for you all is, how will you save yourself some time this week? Let me know below. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all. See you all next week. Hear you all next week. You'll hear from me next week. Share this with a friend. a family member, and even Fred from up the street, because Fred needs this stuff too. I appreciate you and all that you do. And as usual, treat each day as a building block to a better future. Peace.